morning. It's been a while that we haven't done a live broadcast, but it's good to be back. Now, the topic would be, because there's too much things going on in the tech world, especially with artificial intelligence, and we'll see how the workforce will be affected. But mainly, we're going to talk about exploring the future of workforce, entrepreneurship, and innovation on crypto, blockchain, and AI. So, welcome to the Crypto Lounge. By the way, if this is your first time here, and we would really appreciate if you give us a thumbs up and go smash the subscribe button so that every time we do this broadcast, do some uploads, you will be notified. At the same time, please make some comments so that we'll try to answer it as good as we can at the same, and we'll be more engaging with you. But today we do have a subject matter expert. He's a good friend of ours. He's the executive director at Fred Brandon's Flames Foundation. He's an author, educator, Scrum product manager, Flames founder, etc., etc. So, the best subject matter expert for the topic for today. So, please, without further ado, help me welcome our guest, Mr. Fred Brandon. Fred, good morning.
How's it going, Doug Vince?
Doing great. And we haven't talked for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. I always look forward to our talks. We always have something engaging and exciting, especially around tech.
Yep. And I got to go straight to the point, because I did mention to you before the broadcast that what could be a good topic. Then so you suggested the topic, and what I did, as most influencers in YouTube people do, go to chat nowadays.
Right.
And I asked ChatGPT, okay, please, with this topic, give me several questions. And the questions were generated. First question for you. I'm going to show this. Man, this is interesting. How do you see the intersection of blockchain, AI, and education impacting the future of the workforce and the skills that will be in high demand?
Man,
Good.
that's an awesome question. I think all of the questions are really going to be awesome, but just to see the intersectionality of how all these things play out is really going to be huge for us. So just kind of understanding a little bit more what that question was of blockchain, AI, and education. I see that, as we start, digging into the future of work, that is really going to be a word or a term that, we're going to talk about more either today and as time goes on, is just kind of understanding, what are the skills that's needed, right? And as we know that, blockchain technology, Web3 technology is huge. It is revolutionizing a lot of the way that corporations and enterprises and even small businesses are starting to look at the way that they interact with their customers, how they perfect their business processes and things of that sort. So in order for us to make sure that we're employable for the future, we have to go and find the skills that's needed. So as we start seeing blockchain being permeating between the Web3 world, and Web3 is kind of one of those things that it makes up a lot of things, but blockchain is huge in it. Also with AI, it's everywhere. It is everywhere in a lot of products that we're using already, and we probably don't even know it. And because of those things, we understand that those are where the jobs are going to be.
Yeah, we're talking about the jobs now. The education per se, what will happen to colleges, and would diplomas still matter in the future? When like a 4-year course, you got to finish this. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think they still would. I think as we graduate to a lot of different things that we do, whether it is, when we were coming up, we had the typewriter, we had encyclopedias and things of that sort. Um, and then came the internet, right? So that change, that shift of saying, oh, well, we don't have to go to libraries anymore. We can just look it up online. Well, that still didn't, change the way we, go to school, right? We still had to go to school. We still had to get diplomas. We still had to kind of understand the subject matter. So this is just like that next iteration. It's not just the internet. It's like the internet on steroids, right? So now, but you still have to understand what you're typing in, right? And because you can type it in and maybe AI can spit out a 10-page report that you don't necessarily have to type or copy and paste anymore. Do you still understand the subject, right? Because there's still going to be testing. There's still going to be a lot of these other things that kind of test your skill level, right? And Chat GPT or any of these other ones are not going to be able to take the test for you. So I think the grades and things still matter.
And there might be, I guess, there might be changes in the educational system just to adopt what will happen in the future. But people still need education, their basics. Number two, this is another interesting question. Can you share your thoughts on the role of cryptocurrencies and blockchain in the future of entrepreneurship and small business development?
This is a question that's really close and dear to my heart, because this is, I love this area, right? So just understanding that, crypto and blockchain is huge and is really going to be the way that we work moving forward. So a lot of things that we think of, whether we're small businesses or we're entrepreneurs, is how do we utilize this technology to benefit us, right? So whether we are a small business and we decide to, accept crypto as a form of payment, or if we are using NFTs for any of our work, or we're using some other Web3 technology to be able to display, sell, market, any of those type of things. I think we have so many different ways that we can do it. We're starting to see a lot more companies dive into it, whether it is the music industry, whether it's corporate world, whether it's, even like Starbucks and places of that sort. They're trying to test their hand at getting into Web3 technology. So it's definitely going to be one of those type of things that is going to catch on like wildfire later. Sometimes it might not necessarily, hit those mom and pop shops right off the bat, unless they are just trying to find a way to accept a crypto like Bitcoin or USDC or something like that, right? So, but beside that, whether they have a full blown blockchain infrastructure system where they're using it for some of their supply chains or any of those type of things, there's so many possibilities to look there for small businesses as well as entrepreneurs.
And I see even big businesses, was it Walmart, is using blockchain for their supply chain. And the thing is, mainstream people don't really know that it is being implemented, used by big companies. And the only thing that I see is the word cryptocurrencies that pushes the mainstream retail group to be skeptic about it because of what happened to FTX. You did mention, I'm going to share the screen. I don't know if you could see it. Amazon right now is doing an initiative on NFTs.
Right.
The other problem would be regulations. What do you think about the regulatory body, SEC, the government's role on this?
So just to touch back on the previous statement, and yeah, it happens a lot. I think we have to understand that Just because one company does something that may give an industry a black eye for a second, I think we have to see it for the bigger picture, right? I mean, whether, there's been a lot of things with conventional banking, right? There may be, bank one, or bank two that has some issues
Bro,
over
don't
the
get
years,
me
right?
started about banks.
Right. So there have been a lot of things that's happened in traditional finance over the years, and now it can't just say, "Well, I'm never going to trust banks." Well, never mind. Anyway, it's those type of things where we have to kind of think about just because one one bad things happen, we have to look at the industry as a whole. Now, when we start talking about industry standards and regulations and things of that sort, we have to understand that it's coming, and we have to understand that it's something that I got to put this the right way. It's something that's needed for a lot of more mainstream adoption. I'll put it that way, right? Because a lot more people will be more accepting of it if it's very similar to something that they're used to, right? So I think that's one of the things that a lot of people will want to, subscribe to it if there's a big backing, especially by government entities, and then they feel a little bit more safer to get into it.
And I guess once we have these regulations being settled down, we see a bull market for crypto and mainstream investors coming in. Now, number three, how do you see the use of AI and automation shaping the future of the workforce? Because people are so afraid when they see this. Oh my goodness, AI. There will be a lot of job displacement. So both in terms of your, job displacement per se and new job creation, trying to balance that thing.
Man, I swear these questions, Chat GPT must know me very well, because I swear I talk to these questions all the time. So one of the things that we have to understand is Skynet is real. No, this is a joke that I've always talked about with Terminator, right? Skynet is real. These things are happening. But we have to understand that with AI and automation, it's going to replace a lot of jobs. So one of the things that we really need to do is make sure that we are upskilling as much as possible to make sure that we will understand the future of work. That some of the jobs that conventionally was done by humans, whether it was reading gauges or flipping burgers or a lot of these different things, because even a lot of the fast food restaurants are getting these mechanical arms. They're getting robot bartenders. They're doing a lot of different things. They're even having robot servers. So some of these things that are being replaced with robots or automation, it just means that we have to kind of evolve in our skill set, and that involves upskilling, kind of understanding where technology is headed, understanding some of the things that can't be done by a robot or with AI, and kind of flourishing there. There's a lot of different ways. So I think that as we start to just kind of understand that there with AI, there is going to be a lot of jobs that's going to get replaced. But at the same time, we can also look to use that technology and find more jobs out there as well.
Next question. What role do you believe in education will play in preparing the workforce for these rapid changes that is really ongoing about integration of AI and blockchain technology?
This is huge. This is really the huge part, because everything is education, right? We have to keep constantly growing. We have to keep constantly educating ourselves and understanding exactly where things are headed. So understanding that we have to keep our skills up. If you are going to be in the tech industry, if you're going to be in health, and if you're in a lot of different of these fields where it's not just like a one and done. Like, oh, I got my degree back in the 80s and it's no, you know what? You got to keep learning, right? You got to keep learning. It's not one of these one and done type of things. So I think that one of the advantages of AI is kind of, forcing people or pushing people to constantly learn, because you want to make sure that you are understanding where the world is headed and that you're not caught left in the dark there. So, things like GPT, and all of these different ones that's out there, we're starting to see it on a mainstream level a little bit more now. But at the same time, there has been a lot of things that's been out there for a long time that we just don't realize is AI.
Hey, by the way, I want to give a good shout out to a friend of mine, Mr. Firestarter, John. Thanks for being here. Yeah, he's watching it. We are on fire, bro. Hey,
Cool.
next, I lost my train of thought, but we're good because I got Chat GPT here. What would be the consequences of um, copyrights, IPRs with this AIs doing stuff? For example, you have those art that's being generated by AI or even deepfake, because we have a lot of AIs doing deepfake. So, what do you think about that? What are your views on those?
So a lot of those copyright, patent, trademarks, all those laws still apply, right? Just because we implemented AI in Chat GPT doesn't mean the court system has went away. So we have to understand that, as we're starting to put out content, whether we are creating things from scratch, whether we are creating things from AI, we still have to do our due diligence to make sure that we're not trademark infringing anywhere, right? So I think that you still have to, as a business owner, entrepreneur, or what have you, you still have to do your due diligence to make sure that, whether you're going to USPTO office to kind of understand what's out there, what's available, who's used it, is it live or dead, right? All of those type of trademarks and patents and things of that sort, you still have to do your due diligence there. And then, as you're, whether you're infusing some type of technology to create some of your artwork, just understand that you may be walking on a thin line of crossing over into someone else's artwork or property.
Yeah, I remember yesterday I did that thing on a certain AI software, and you did, is what do you call that? It gave me a warning. It's like you didn't read the community guidelines because you're
Right.
using a celebrity face for an AI generation. It's like, oh, okay, now I
Right.
understand. Like you said, the rules are there and it's being implemented. Now, the next question could be, the question is, how can companies effectively leverage blockchain and AI to create new business models and stay ahead of the curve in terms of innovation and competitiveness? Big companies are actually doing this. They have their research and development, uh, you know, team. But as small companies, your thoughts on this one?
So, all right. So we have to start thinking about what AI is, right? A lot of it is repetitive, making sure repetitive work is not so mundane, and that, if we can automate it in a certain way, we can do so, right? That's kind of AI at a basic level. So some of the things that we kind of understand, as we probably used it for the last 10 years, is like chat bots, right? Sometimes you are signing into a website and they say, hey, can I help you? That is not someone just sitting at their computer waiting for you to pop on, right? That is it may have a face there, but that is not a person, right? So those type of things that we are infusing into our technology, whether it's those FAQs or those type of chat bots that kind of help us. Hey, do you need help with your flights? Do you need help with, renting a car? Do you need help? That's AI. They're doing a lot of things for you, right? So understanding that we have a lot of companies, whether big or small, starting to use different AI technologies, including things like chatbots or including things that kind of give you an edge up of like the machine learning side, right? So, and that's kind of a deeper level of AI is kind of understanding machine learning, whether we are looking into numbers and just saying, okay, where's the predictive analysis, where's the projective analysis, where's all those type of things that come into play. So once we start kind of looking at AI at different levels, then we can start to try to figure out how we can incorporate them into our business.
And I guess education and awareness is the best way to go for companies to know which one would synergize on their platform. And you did mention about chatbots. Going back on Facebook Messenger, they do have those auto reply on their Facebook pages that being not sometimes not being maximized by some of the small businesses, but it really started there.
Right.
Going back to this topic where the benefits and challenges of the decentralized system, because there's too much talk about decentralization, and maybe you could share to us the potential benefits and how they could really impact the future of businesses, entrepreneurship, business development.
So yeah, I mean that's a good question as well, and I think we just have to understand exactly where our maturity is with our business and our business model. So as we understand exactly what we do and what we provide, we can understand how we might be able to utilize these decentralized systems, right? So whether you're using like DeFi or whether you're using a like NFTs, or if you're deciding to jump into the metaverse and actually use the metaverse in a particular way that has that blockchain foundation, that underlying of blockchain. There are so many different elements that we have to start to think of. So kind of think of if you are a department store, right? And I'm probably giving away some goods right here, but just think that you're a department store and you're used to having a 2D website, right? People are just kind of like scrolling through those type of things, and it's the same thing that you've used before, right? So now we start to use this in a 3D instance where you're actually physically going through the mall, right? Kind of think of like Doom, right? If you ever played Doom, and instead of kind of like understanding that it's just that like 2D, you have a more like 3D look and feel instead of physically driving to the mall.
Right.
I'm starting to use a metaverse or some type of AR reality type of thing to start to move through this space, right? To see exactly what's going on, or if I want to shop, or if I want to do any of these type of things. So I think we have different ways of being able to utilize that, and kind of understanding that there's so many different levels of Web3 technology, and that each instance is going to be on its own. So the small company might not do the exact same thing that a mid-sized company will do, or they can implement certain things or certain strategies. Like I said, it could be even just the basics of just making sure that they can accept crypto as a form of payment.
Well, what I have in mind right now is I don't know if this would be a good giveaway business model for retail stores, because especially in California or Chicago, high crime states, especially in the city, stores are being robbed, and most of their item supplies, just goes down the drain. They lose a lot of money. But what if you have a store with just a space, nothing added? However, when a customer comes in, you just give them an Oculus or a glass augmented reality. So when they look at that certain space, the item is right there when they wear the glass, right? They took it off, item's not there. So with that itself, that might save a lot of money. What do you think?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, I think you're on a psychology, and I've kind of thought of a few. Yeah, we'll have to talk, but it's those type of things that really that we start to work with businesses, whether more or if it's going to be online or if it's going to be in the virtual. I think that we have a lot of possibilities, a lot
mhm.
of options to start. And as we going back to one of those previous questions, that we have the ability to kind of start planning ahead and starting to try to find ways to innovate with technology.
Last two questions, bro. Second to the last. Can you discuss the role of the government, like zooming in the role of the government and the regulatory bodies in first fostering the innovation and development in the blockchain and AI space?
Okay. A previous question was just kind of getting that regulation behind us. Uh,
Uh-huh.
so because there's so much, that's a loaded question. That is a loaded question because things that doesn't necessarily add up, right? So the government getting into the blank space is one thing, right? And then I got to baby step my way through this question because there's a lot. It's a lot to it. So the government getting into the blockchain space and the regulation of crypto and things of that sort. Yes, we understand that. We've seen it already in the news. Now, when it starts to come into AI technology, start understanding the levels of AI and what the possibilities are. So really start thinking about responsible AI. That's the kind of understand what it can do as opposed to what we probably shouldn't
Hmm.
do, right? A lot of different fields and ethics is in the technology space because it goes to that old adage, doesn't mean you should type of
Hmm.
thing. And we have to make sure that our understanding what responsible AI is. We have to also understand that some of the things that are, already trying to hit markets and or already being conceptualized may not really affect everyone the same because the models are not being trained the same. So now there's a lot of racial bias, any of those type of things that may be infused within the AI that really needs to be monitored and checked stream. So I think with the ability and that the governments and things of that sort have to kind of regulate that, we have to understand exactly what we're doing, and making sure that we're doing it in a responsible way.
How about crypto? Yeah. How? What do you think about crypto in terms of the regulations? When
So,
what the government SEC is really doing right now?
so yeah, so it depends. I got to give you it depends answer. It depends. Like I said, I think it's more understanding that for main, like I said, of kind of getting you that they trust. They're going to kind of look for that type of regulation. Um, as a person who a decentralized space and kind of understands its true purpose. So, whether you're talking about crypto, you're talking about all these different types of situations where you're kind of looking for it to be not centralized of it, right? And I think we have to kind of understand that we have use cases that um, the main purpose. You know, if we go into a situation where it is regulated to a point that is centralized again, then we're just pretty much putting a different dress on the same dog.
Right.
Right. So we just have to understand is what did we really do? Did we move from one system and from the exact same old system, but just change it a little, put a little makeup on it, brand new system? Like, no. So I think that we have to make sure that education is involved on all levels, including the people at the government level, of just understanding exactly what this is and what it can provide, as opposed to just trying to shape everything the way it's always worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't always worked for everyone, right? And that's one thing that we have to understand about traditional financing is it may have worked for some, but it hasn't worked for all. And now we're trying to move into an area where it's decentralized, and it kind of works for the creators. It kind of works for these instead of just kind of only working for the banks.
Bro, with regards to banking, it did really work. Traditional banking, traditional finance, it did really work for some, only a few.
Exactly.
and,
Exactly.
and that's where the controversy is. And it's like when talking about this, we're really walking in a threading on deep sea waters, or like walking through eggshells. We
Right.
gotta be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah. Look, like I said, I'm used to, I'm used to talking about it. So it's those type of things of just kind of understanding where we've been with traditional finances, and then kind of where things need to go. Right. Like I said, we can't just, do the exact same things and expect different results. Right. So as we start making these type of moves into like DeFi and incorporating different areas of Web3 to be able to transact and sell our goods or do whatever, I think we have to come with a newer way of thinking.
Mhm. How do you see the future of crypto and blockchain evolving over the next 5 to 10 years, and
Yeah.
what impact do you believe this will have on the economy and society? I asked this question to ChatGPT, though ChatGPT gave me this question. I did also ask, and the AI said they're not a predictor of the future. So I'm gonna ask you
So
this
you're gonna ask
question.
me?
What do you
So yes, the thing about trying to predict how technology is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years, it's not going to happen. I can't tell
think?
you what's going to happen by the end of the year, right? So we have to kind of understand exactly what that is. Everything is fast, fast moving and always changing and ever evolving and all types of things, right? So it's just like, hey, where do we go from here? So as we start seeing the infusion of a lot more technologies, whether it is crypto based, some type of electronic, uh, you know, use case of being able to not necessarily have physical money anymore, or we're not using credit cards, which is nothing anyway. All it was a magnetic strip with your, a pretty piece of plastic with your name on it. It could have been made out of cardboard, right? It was nothing. It was nothing. But I digress. It's those type of things. Like, oh, you get a black card, you get a green card. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just give me the strip give me the strip, give me the chip, and everything is good, right? So, and even that, like I said, we've gone from a strip to a chip, and
Mhm,
now we don't even have to insert the chip anymore. We got tap. We have
mhm,
all those type of things. So as we start seeing all of these technologies change, and it's being infused in, just being a means of payment, I do see a lot more electronic, use cases of being able to use crypto or some type of DeFi solution to be able to make those transactions as well. So um, you know as we start seeing, and just to speak to blockchain a little bit more, I do see that a lot more companies are going to either start adopting it, starting incorporating into their systems. A lot of people are still on the fence because they equate blockchain with crypto, and they don't know how to separate the two. To say, okay, well, there's Bitcoin dipped or something like that. Why would I want to invest in the blockchain technology? And they're not seeing it for its entirety. So they really have to kind of understand, and that's where that education piece comes in, is really understanding what blockchain technology is and how you can utilize it. I teach a course on this as well, of just talking about enterprise blockchain. And so, sometimes when you talk to these C-suite level people who kind of say they want to jump into blockchain, but they don't really understand what it is, or they just want to do it because their competitor is using it, or they are they just got their cloud solution and they don't want to switch over to blockchain. I'm like, so you have so many different ideologies in those scenarios where you don't necessarily have to abandon one to get into the other, right? You can still keep your cloud, you can infuse blockchain, you can have certain areas where you're starting to utilize certain elements that does the heavy lifting for you on the blockchain side, and you're also able to incorporate a lot more security because of that encryption. So you're kind of moving away from the cloud in certain areas where you might be able to continue to have your blob stores and your storage or your big files or your documents, but at the same time you're able to utilize some of the security level features of blockchain and crypto as possibly as a form of payment, as well as incorporating other Web3 technologies.
Now, how's the foundation? How's Flames?
Flames is doing great. We are about to incorporate a new coding program within the next month or so. It starts in March. So we really want to help people get into tech in different ways. So what we're going to do is we're going to start hosting different cohorts to learn JavaScript, Python, C, and C++. These are going to be really key for you to kind of get your feet wet, kind of understanding how you can start building in Web 2, as well as getting those foundational principles to be able to lead you into being able to code for Web 3 and for Web 5, Web 6, whatever, right? So those things. And we also have a program out there currently where we are helping people learn the cyber security side. So all of those types of things, you can go check out our website on fbflamesfoundation.org, or you follow us, pretty much on all social media as FB Flames File.
Final thoughts, bro. Before going to the final thoughts, I mean, this answers in no way AI would be able to replace these kinds of conversations. So I don't see in the near future AI would be able to replace what we're doing right now.
And hey, I need my shirt that says I'm non-fungible. I need my C4C global shirt that says I'm non-fungible. Because they're not going to be able to replace my answers like that.
Yep. Okay. So final thoughts, final words. Maybe give a shout out. Invite people to your website, to your foundation. So I'll give you the floor. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So as we mentioned before, AI is not the devil. It's not coming for everyone. But we have to understand what it is and how we can utilize it. So whether we are a company and we start to trying to figure out how we're going to incorporate it, we have to start at a ground level. So whether you're a big company or a small company, start trying to infuse it, bring it around your employees, help them understand exactly what it is. Maybe it's something that we can figure out whether it is a person who was, maintaining that FAQ board and answering a lot of those things, that maybe we can start infusing some of those things that they had in that role and start using AI with it. So once we start trying to, figure out some of these use cases and abilities to be able to infuse it into our companies and also into our lives, I think we won't necessarily be afraid of AI as many people who has been led to believe, kind of just thinking about, those Terminator scenarios or Minority Report scenarios or any of those, like the jobs or the robots are coming for our jobs. So I think we really have to understand exactly what it is, educate ourselves, continue to upskill, and then adopt a lot more of these technologies instead of fearing them.
Man, that was really slow. My overlay was really slow. So, Fred, it's always been a pleasure having you here, and I'm enjoying it. And we could do more of these discussions in the near future. Thank you for being here, and for those who are watching right now, don't forget to again like, share, subscribe. I make a comment, and we'll try to address it. And go to Fred's website. I'll put it right here in the description box so that people could follow through. So I guess that's it. Bro, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Sunday. Enjoy the sun.
All right, man.
Enjoy the weather. How is it there? Is it still snowing or what?
Oh no, and no, we haven't had any snow. Like I said, it's been pretty temperate over here, so I'm happy. Cold is okay. I don't like the cold, but it's better than snow, so I'll take it. But yeah, definitely, man. I enjoyed being here. I appreciate the invite.
Right. Stay safe. Be safe. God bless.
All right, man, see you later. All right.